Jack and Jackie were very, very poor. And because they were so poor, they couldn't afford food, so they were very, very hungry. And they were so poor and so hungry that they realized they had to sell their favorite cow, Bessie. Now, Bessie was not happy about having to be sold, and she let them know with a moo. So, Jack and Jackie took Bessie all the way over to the market, but no one seemed to want to buy her. So, except for one person, a farmer who was willing to sell them 3 magic beans for the cow. Now, they weren't sure about this because they really needed food and 3 beans isn't a lot. But the farmer assured them that these were magic beans and if they planted them, all of their wishes would come true. So Jack said, okay, I'll take them. And they took them and the farmer took Bessie, who didn't really want to go with them, but went anyway. So Jack and Jackie went over to the ground and buried the beans. They dug a hole, they stuck a bean in the hole, and then Jackie watered the hole. And then they waited, and they waited, and they waited, and nothing seemed to happen. So Jack and Jackie waited and eventually fell asleep. But then, suddenly, a great big beanstalk started to grow out of the ground. It's a beanstalk. A beanstalk grew out onto the ground. And when Jack and Jackie awoke, they saw a beanstalk that went way up into the sky. And they were amazed, but also really curious. So they climbed up the beanstalk. They climbed up the beanstalk all the way into the clouds, and the beanstalk got lower and lower from their view. And they were up in the clouds, and they were looking all around, when suddenly they heard a giant thumping. So Jack and Jackie, very scared, ran and hid. When a giant appeared, and it said, Alright, that's all it said. And went stomping around looking for Jack and Jackie, but couldn't find them anywhere. So they stopped right back over to his giant house. Now Jack and Jackie were very scared at this point, but they were also still very curious, because they wanted to see who was in the giant's house. So Jack and Jackie crept very quietly over through the door, into a crack in the door, and they went into the giant's house, where they saw the giant eating at a giant table. When Jack and Jackie did not want to go near the giant, so they went into the next room they could find, where they saw a great big golden goose and a golden harp. A great big golden goose and a golden harp. They were they were stunned by the harp and they kept looking at it, when all of a sudden, the goose made a giant flutter and kept flapping its wings and jumping up and down, and out came a great big golden egg. Now Jackie looked at the egg and realized it was a solid gold egg, and they could use that to solve all their money problems. So they were going to take the golden goose with them, when the harp said, wait, take me with you. I don't like living with the giant. So Jackie said, so Jackie and the harp and the golden goose started going out, walked out of that room. They saw the giant there still eating. But they didn't know how they were going to get all the people out without the giant noticing. And the harp said, you can just play me and the giant will fall asleep. So they all played the harp. And the giant immediately collapsed. So Jack, Jackie, and the harp and the goose all ran very quickly out of the house. and they all went over to the beanstalk and started climbing down the beanstalk as quick as they could. Now the giant woke up at this point and started stomping after them. But as they made it down, they saw the giant get on the beanstalk and it was going to start chasing them. So Jack and Jackie ran up and grabbed axes and started cutting down the beanstalk. And as they cut down the beanstalk fell and the giant came tumbling with them. Crash! Well, Jack and Jackie were so happy about knocking down the beanstalk that they took one of the great big golden goose eggs and bought back their cow Bessie from the farmer. Now the cow Bessie was very happy and kept mooing about it appreciatively. And then Jack and Jackie found a whole bunch of new friends and financial success, and they were very happy. The end. Alright, now the class would like to introduce themselves to you. Starting over, we're going to start with Hannah over there. Hannah.
My name is Hannah and I'm playing the golden goose. I'm 11 and I'm playing the giant. My name is Lily and I played the golden goose.
Thank you all very much for coming. That was our presentation. Let's give a round of applause to our